Hello, and a glorious on-passive day to you. I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to a beautiful day because, as you can see here, we have got a very special guest, a friend, and I'm sure that everybody knows who this person is. And I don't want to massacre your name, but I do believe that after talking to you yesterday, there's a pronunciation that I had all wrong, and it's Lerato de
Shadare.
Shadare.
Lerato Shadare.
Shadare.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you do us a favor and just kind of introduce yourself just a little bit here? Because I know that you've got music going on. And
Mhm.
well, just go ahead.
So my name is Lerato Shadare, and I'm a musician. I love music, and this is what I mainly, focus on, just in terms of expression, in terms of just bringing happiness to people, and just I think that's a way also to accomplish my purpose here on earth. So that's who I am in a nutshell, and a mom.
Well, I certainly appreciate that. And I know that the audience is going to as well. And I know that they're all familiar with the song that you did for On Passage.
Yeah,
I hope
yeah,
to, when we get this video here, I hope to have that playing in the background softly. Um, but right out of the gate, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions if I can,
yeah.
because you've had such a remarkable life and you're doing so many remarkable things. What are the significant challenges that you've faced and had to overcome? And on the other side of that, who are the people in your life that help you to do that, and how did they affect you? I know that was a big,
Hmm.
right.
Yeah, it's a very good question, right? And I think for me, the biggest challenge was when I lost my dad at a young age, right? Because our identity, or we learn life through our parents. Doesn't mean that my mom was less, but she had to take a role of to, be there for me also as my dad. But of course, she's a mom, right? She was giving everything that she could, but I think that void was still there. Um, and what got me over is my relationship with God. I learned how to rely on God as my father, right? So it's just, yeah, it's that. The biggest challenge for me, I think it was that, because it's in developmental years where, you're still developing. I was 9 years old when my dad died. So, and you're still developing, you want to experience the love, you want to learn love through your dad. I think somebody said that for women, our first love is our dad. It's our dads, right? So just learning how my dad treats my mom, how he loves me and everything, so that, when somebody else comes, you know that you're well loved. Somebody can't just come and bamboozle you as a man. You know that I'm well loved. I come from love. I've experienced love. I've seen it demonstrated by my father. So, and my father was a very, very cool person. He loved to laugh and he had a very strong character. I still remember bits and pieces of him, and he was also a musician. I would have loved to experience him as I grew up in that capacity as a musician as well, because he was also a very creative man. So that for me was the biggest challenge. And then as I went through life, of course, you go through certain things, and then some experiences that you go through, you realize, they will call it daddy issues. You realize, oh, maybe that's what that was. You're like, oh, that's what that was. So, you know. So the overcoming was because God, my relationship with God gave me that fatherhood thing, and I got to experience that through Christ. But apart from that, then yeah. So I would say that, yeah,
Wow. I don't think you're alone in that. I think there's a lot of folks that have that same um,
yeah,
that kind of rebar that runs through your life that
yeah,
mom and dad
yeah,
were there because we
yeah,
get so
yeah,
as a child, like from the ages of 1 to 7, 1 to 8, we're
yeah.
taking in all these
Information,
information,
yeah,
and absolutely, and our parents are instrumental in developing who we
yeah,
are.
yeah.
To that end, how have the challenges, what are some significant challenges that you've faced, and how have those challenges, those experiences, if you will, influenced
Mm.
your outlook and
Oh,
the path you've taken in life?
oh my God. In what way can we delve into it? I mean, we can go. We can go in so many different directions here, because I think, like I said, the major one for me was my dad, and I think the other experience that shook me to the core is when I lost a child. I had a miscarriage, right?
Mm.
And that experience was like, wow. You know, people will tell you their story. They'll tell you this happened, and you look at it, you're like, oh, yeah, it happened. I mean, it's something that everybody deals with. But then when something happens to you, now you have to process feelings that you never even thought were there. And you're like, what? Who is this person experiencing? You know, it's like you're having an out of body experience, and you're looking at yourself, you know, experiencing these things. And some of them are like new things. You're like, oh, welcome, stranger. I didn't know. I didn't know you exist, right? And so processing these things, and the one thing that I learned about myself is to be also kind to myself, because we go through experiences, we think that we should have everything made up and clean and blah blah. You know, you have to have everything in order. You have a perception of how you should live your life, especially when you're not experiencing something. So when you experience something, the grace to be kind, the grace to be patient, all these things now are weaving into you, and then you start seeing yourself in another way. You start seeing yourself in the brokenness that you are, because most of us are broken, and sometimes we don't want to see the brokenness. Most of us cannot sit with it long enough to sit with it and say, okay, what is this? Okay, here I'm broken, and acknowledge it and sit in it, in that bare, you know, the bareness of that pain, and sit with it and manage and pull yourself through it, find ways to cope and to look at it as it is, and then, you know, grow from there. Most of us can't do that because it's too scary and it hurts. It really hurts when you have to look at life. You know, when life gives you something that is painful, most of us can sit with that. We want to mask the pain. Some people do drugs, some people drink too much, some people eat, you know, some people do different things in order to mask it. We don't sit with it long enough, and we develop these other things that are also extra baggage, instead of sitting with it and just going through the emotions, right? So those experiences for me, okay, my dad, I told you that, you know, I would sit with it because I question a lot of things. I'm a creative, and I question life, and I question things. When I go through something, I just sit with it and I look at it and observe it. I think you have the same thing as me, because, you know, as creatives, we have that ability to sit and observe and question and introspect, right? So, and throughout that, even when I was young, I would sit with it. I was like, yeah, I guess this was my life experience. This is what I had to experience. That I had to grow without my dad. I had to develop certain strengths, and also go through my weaknesses and see these things for what they are, and become and mold myself into the person that I want to become, right? So, and then even with that experience with the miscarriage, when I lost the baby, it was like, wow, okay, like I said, grace, patience, even for other people, just having patience and grace, and know that people go through things, and we might see them smiling, or we might see them thinking that they're coping. You know, they will tell you that they're functional. People who are functional, dysfunctional, but they're functional as well. And so people would be there looking at you. You go to a bank teller, you don't know what their life is, and they're smiling at you, but they're battling demons. They're battling things that are heavy. And so to have grace when people snap or they do whatever, just have the grace and see past the person, and know that this person might be dealing with something. This person might be going through something, but they're here serving us. They're in that capacity. But everybody, life is happening to all of us. Life is lifing, you know, just having the grace and sit back when, you know, you deal with certain situations in life. Know that all of us are here trying to make it through, trying to learn, trying to be gracious, trying to be kind, you know. So yeah, that's that. So those experiences taught me to choose the contrary, to choose strength, to choose to face things, to choose to be gracious, to choose to be kind, you know, all those things. That's what it brought me. That, yeah, that's what I learned.
Wow. Man alive, you have just opened up a whole I'm telling
Can
you, you know, you started. Oh, thank you so much for that, because that really, really helped me to understand and help
mm,
to understand. But you know, you started out with the premise that is absolutely basic to who we are, and that's that you have got
mm.
to have compassion for self,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's obvious, so obvious, that you are no stranger to deep pain, right?
yeah,
And that makes
yeah,
me think of the contrast of life, right? Life is a
yeah,
trinity where you've got such contrast. We live in a
yeah,
polar universe where every stick that you pick up has got two ends, but in the middle there is balance. In the middle there is
yeah,
harmony. And you're right, though. You know, a lot of people hang on to this to this pain, to this suffering, and these battles, as you call them, battling their demons. They don't deal with it. They get
Yeah.
stuck in and stored in our bodies. They become dis-ease, if you will.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
you've been there. You've worked through that, you know, and man alive, you, as a result, have more journey behind you, and your contrast is wider, and so that you can see others, and you now have a great power to help them. And you talk about
Yeah.
things like grace and kindness, compassion, right?
Yeah.
Feeling this, and just understanding people, and that, man. And then you mentioned choice. Wow, we
Yeah.
always have a choice.
Have a
We can
choice. Yeah.
choose to do. Now, all that brings us to ONPASSIVE. And we've
Mm.
got a
Mm.
lot of people in ONPASSIVE
Mm.
that are identifying with what you're saying. They
Mm.
feel, I mean, they feel you. They feel you.
Mm.
Oh,
Mm.
wow. Man alive. So I guess my next question is, for you and for ONPASSIVE, what are your hopes once we finally go and do a good launch and we are running smoothly and we're earning
Mm.
the money that we're expecting to earn?
Mm.
How is it that you are going to be using ONPASSIVE and its platform to follow your passions?
Mm. I think Academy is something of interest to me. Academy and what do you call it? Our Connect. You know, conversations like this. I think we should have people like us, people like you, have great minds meeting together and talk about real things in life, talking about real issues. You know, we can. How I'm gonna use ONPASSIVE. I want to have that platform to be a voice to people to say, okay, fine. These are the issues. How do we deal with them? These are the options. You know, just offer somebody an option. I started therapy, I think it was last year. And what I love about therapy is that it gives you options, right? You might think one way, but when somebody else comes and gives you another perspective, then you're able to process things differently. And then you get tools to deal. It's like it gives you tools to deal with certain situations and choices as well. So I think also when great minds come together and we meet with people, you see that, oh, I'm not the only one that had gone, you know, that went through something like this, or I'm not the only one who is experiencing life this way. So we're able to talk about certain things and help each other heal, help each other to appear better for humanity. We want to help humanity. The main motive, like our biggest motto in ONPASSIVE, is about pulling out humanity and helping humanity. But I think that we're also there to heal each other. We're here to heal each other. We're there to bring healing. And so for what I'm interested in is to meet people like you, meet people who have the same mind, so that we can sit there in our capacity to bring healing, to bring joy, to bring people to think about things, you know, just to stimulate people to think and to not only think but to apply themselves, and now to grow together and heal each other. That's what's important for me. So those platforms like O Connect is amazing. I'm going to use it for me to bring that forth. I want to, you know, have talks or maybe a talk show, something like that. I don't know, but I'm looking for something like that, right? And then of course Academy, where we can have talks, like real talks, talk about everything that affects life, everything, like all the things that we can bring together that can move us forward as humanity and as people. That's my wish and my goal.
Wow. Wow.
Mm.
Man alive, I'm loving this. You know, I have no doubt that these things will happen for you, simply
Mm.
because I know
Mm.
that there are synchronicities in life where
Yeah,
God and the universe just pulls these things together and they make
together.
them work
Yeah,
for our benefit. If we could
yeah.
just learn to, as you've alluded to, through objectivity, if we could just
Mm.
get our ego out of the way, you know, just
Yeah, yeah,
objectively look
yeah,
at things, and that perspective that you talk about, gaining that perspective that someone else might have, because they're in a different position looking at the same
yeah,
thing we are. So they've got a different, and that might help us, right?
yeah.
That helps us when we can do that. That helps us with our learning. It helps in that
Mm.
healing that you're referring to.
Mm. Yeah.
And on the meeting of the people for connectivity that you're talking about, that's beautiful. I am loving
Yeah,
that. And it goes
yeah,
right into when we were talking, or you were talking about O Connect.
yeah.
Well, in what ways are you actually partially answered this, I think, but if you can give me a little more depth on what
Mm.
way is it that you're looking to connect? You already talked about the meeting with people and doing things through O Connect. but are there other ways that you see that you may, other avenues that you might take for connectivity? I mean, ONPASSIVE is a global company, and there are so many avenues. Can you open that up just a little bit for us to
You
let
know,
others
I'm
know?
curious. I'm also curious to know about O Media. We were talking about O Connect. The tool of O Connect is really good. I mean, I am fascinated about the quality, about the sound. Everything about it is amazing and is superior. So I'm looking forward to, for me as an artist, you know, having performances that are top notch on O Connect and sharing that, so that, you know, because our technology is really, really, really good. So I'm looking forward to using it, you know, to do live things, to do different things, connect with other artists and everything like that. So I'm very, very excited about that. And then the second thing, you know, Ash alluded that, you know, he spoke about that. We know, all of us know that there's O Media. So I'm looking forward to that, to see what it's going to offer for us, to us artists, especially independent artists, because everybody knows that as much as we love our art, it takes a lot of money to push our artistry out there. I said to you the last time when we spoke, and I believe that everything doesn't belong to everybody. I know that also for me as an artist, I'm not here for everybody. So my gift will reach the people that it needs to reach, and it will do what it needs to do, right? So, but also when you have the push, you have you know, technology that will help you to get forward and to reach the people that would otherwise not be reachable if you didn't have the capacity. Then you know, I love the fact that we're all about technology. We're all about ethical, using our products ethically. We're all about that. And I know that as much as we look at O Media, we don't know everything about O Media, but I'm sure it's going to be a platform where also artists will be able to push forth their artistry. We also have traffic. I'm looking to see how I'm going to use traffic to you know, specifically send my music to a specific area, or to target a certain audience, you know, buy traffic for other things apart from our products themselves. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we're going to use all our products to push one, ourselves individually, our interest as well. You know, as an artist, I want to push my interest, I want to push my music and see it reach the targeted audience. So I'm really, 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 really looking forward to all those things and seeing how it's gonna. And what is amazing is the AI, the fact that the AI will already be there integrated in everything, and being able to be very specific, like laser sharp, and it will do what it's supposed to do. So I'm really excited about that. I'm like this. I'm like, when? Because I'm just excited about that. So that's what I'm.
I think you're absolutely right. And that, you know, you're not alone in that. There are a lot of people that are just so excited about what is going on, and we can see the
Yeah,
momentum
yeah,
really start to churn like that little
yeah,
engine could, you know, go to
yeah,
scale.
yeah,
And
yeah,
you touched on a lot of things: technology, ethics. The other day, I think it was on Sunday, we had
yeah.
through Heroes, we did a whole segment on the ideology of ONPASSIVE and what that was and what we're about. And that's what you're talking about, you know,
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the things that we can support.
yeah.
Now, specifically with your artistry, man, you wrote a powerful song. You've gotten several, some Beauty for Ash. I mean, there's a bunch of songs out there
Yeah.
that come from your gospel roots that I love. But
Oh,
what
thank you.
everybody really knows from ONPASSIVE, and you're certainly welcome, is the In It to Win It, which is
Yeah,
a powerful, powerful song. And
yeah.
if you can, before I get to my last question, can you talk a little bit about your particular brand of artistry and your music, where that song came from, and where you see you going as far as your music with ONPASSIVE, if that is indeed even a path?
I mean, the song came from the message that when I saw Ash speak, when I saw him speak for the first time, like when I got introduced to him, I was like, wow, you know, like you said, energy, you know, there's certain things that attracted me to the way that he speaks and the way that he thinks, because he's all about fairness. He's all about, you know, goodness, everything. He's thinking about not only himself. He was even saying on that meeting, I remember the first meeting, he was saying, you know, you can acquire everything in this world, but if you're not making, you know, you play the world a better place, then why have all those things? Because I mean, what is it for if you can't push other people forward, if you can't share? You know, he was talking about this, you know, I'm sharing this because humanity needs it. It's not only about me, you know. So I was just intrigued by that, and that spirit, the spirit of giving, the spirit of caring, all those things coming together. And I was like, this is where I want to be. These are my people. I was like, this is where I want to be, right? And the song came from there. It says, we are here. You know, most of the time we're here, we just exist, but we're not seen. But when you say, I'm here, I'm seen, I'm part of something great, you know. So the song starts with that: we are here, we are on passive, our message is love, our message is pulling up humanity, our message is light, and we are doing this. We are not giving up. We're in it to win it. I don't care what comes. Things will come, challenges will come, but we're in it to win it because our message is love, and love conquers everything, and light conquers the darkness. So it came from there. That was my trail of thought at that moment, to say, yes, we're going to face a lot of challenges. It's almost like I saw it in the future, right? I had a premonition. I said, we're going to face a lot of challenges, but if we are backed up by love and we're backed up by light, we might be knocked down, but we'll get up and get it right. And if our mission is love, we will conquer everything. So we're in it to win, you know? And I spoke about bringing hope and shining the light. There's so many places in the world. It looks great. It looks beautiful. But when you have spiritual eyes to see, you'll see that people are in darkness, because it's all about selfishness. It's about killing the next person to climb the ladder. You know, look at my business. The music business is dark. Right? It's dark. We see the glamour, we see the artists, we see the money, but then at the background, or look in the back, people are suffering. They're fighting things. It's hellish, right? And I said, we're bringing hope to say, you can have a business, you can be an artist. You don't have to, you know, sacrifice your morals. You don't have to do anything heinous in order for you to be seen. That light that shines in us, that pushes love forward, is what the world will see and will be attracted to. It might take a little bit of time, because the world is used to this darkness and they're so comfortable, you know, it's like the norm. But when you bring light, they might reject it. You know, it's like when somebody's used to abuse for so long, when they experience love, they want to fight you for loving them. For loving them, right? They want to punch you. But after some time, they will like, wow, but I like this because this is beautiful. This is healthy. After some time, they're going to come to the light. They will come to the light because everybody wants to be treated fairly. Everybody wants to be treated like a human being and be treated, you know, as a divine being that we are. So in love. So that's where the song came from. It's like, we are I don't care if you don't see it. We are lifting humanity, and we are lifting you up with us. It might be a struggle, but we're getting there. There is another way. There is another way to do things right. There is another way. So that's where it came from.
Wow, man, I'm loving this. Thank you. You know, you were talking about your message. You know, the song is about the message, and the message was, you know, I did that little Melanie Sofkin's got that song "Beautiful People," which is what this whole thing here is about. And that's exactly what I'm saying is, don't pay attention to Jeffrey singing the song, because it's the message, not the voice. And that's exactly what you're saying. And I know, and I've seen, and I've experienced firsthand that you have an incredible gift and an incredible spirit, and that you embody the spirit of ONPASSIVE, right? Lifting humanity through the compassionate action. Oh man. And through these things, it lifts us, folks around us that are in pain, or maybe they're stuck and they don't know which way to go, or can't get moving. You know, maybe they're lost in a sense. Wow. Through this message, the message of your song, the message of ONPASSIVE, we can move closer to and raise our own consciousness toward love, which is light and love, and it is the frequency of creation and all of that. All that is. So I am so thankful that you brought that out. Now, in closing this up, wrapping this up a bit, I'd like to ask you a question that's going to make you a time traveler in a sense. If you could go back in time and you could visit yourself as a young woman, or a young lady, or even a teen or something, at the beginning of your journey, whenever that was, what advice would you give to your younger self?
You know, when I saw that question, I was like, what can I tell my younger self? I think it's I'm gonna go back to love and compassion, right? I would tell myself that things will happen in life. Your heroes will become villains. You know, because, you know, I've met so many people where, you know, like my favorite artist, and then some of them, when you meet them, you realize, no, you know, the picture that you built, or how you looked at the world, we romanticize everything, right? And like I said, people are going through pain, people are going through things. And so my world came crumbling down when I met some of these people, because what they were singing something different and they were doing something else. So yeah, so I would tell myself, like, I would not allow my life to be shaped by pain, some people's pain, and to have the eyes of compassion for myself and through life, and that patience that I was talking about, the grace, the compassion. I would tell myself, like, things are gonna happen to you, my darling, but as long as your eyes are the eyes of compassion, the eyes of love, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be disappointed, like with my career as well. I mean, there's so many ups and downs of my career where you know that you're capable of doing something. You get to a record label and they play their games and everything, and you start doubting yourself. You start asking yourself, am I not good enough? All this. And then when I sat down, I said, the noise stopped, and I said, no, I am good enough. I came here with this gift and it's good enough. And that took me to be compassionate to myself and to understand myself, to say, I have something to offer. All of us here, we have a purpose. Some people might think that you're insignificant, but you are significant, otherwise you wouldn't be here. There is something in all of us that put us here in order for us. You see, it's like a woven carpet. We only see the small pieces, but when you look from the big picture, it's a part of a whole. So all of us matter. All of us matter. And it's better when we have the eyes of love. It's better to look, because it makes everything, you understand things a little bit better when you look from love. Then you can see a little bit better. So I would tell my younger self that, it's like, you're gonna go through, but as long as you can, something that you can, yes, the things that you can, the one thing that you can fall back on, if it's love, then you will be fine, because you will get healed and you will move on and you will have the strength to carry on. So that's what I would tell myself.
Wow. I'm loving it. I'm so thankful that you've been here today. I mean, you just got done talking about, the ebb and flow of life, where everything is cyclical, right? I mean, the pendulum swings, and we're actually going to feel both ends of the contrast, the extremes, right? And we're going to settle and be able to settle in harmony. And as you say, see through the eyes of love. So I'm telling you, I'm loving this. Now, in closing, is there any particular message that you have for our audience, which will be on-passive and non-on-passive? Yes. So,
okay, for the on-passivians, the specific is like, guys, we're here for a bigger purpose. We are here for a bigger purpose, and I don't want you to get sidetracked about everything else that is happening. That is just dust. When the dust settles, there is something bigger that we're all part of. There's something that we're all a part of, and we can't give up. That is not an option. So that's what I would tell on-passivians. There's so much more coming at us, and it would be nice to enjoy it sober. It would be nice to enjoy it sober. That's what I'm going to say to them. And then for the non-on-passivians, you can still come in. This party is great. If you become a part of this tribe, you are at the right place. So them too, don't look at the dust, just know that there's something beautiful. This place is beautiful where we are. So we're a part of something bigger. So that's what I would say.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so very, very much. You have made my day. I'm telling you, I am loving what you're saying, and I resonate so completely with your message, and just love everything that you're doing. And thank you for showing up. For everybody
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, man, it's my home. I'm loving life. For everybody else out there, I really hope that you take some of this to heart and understand what we're talking about. Other than that, though, just have a wonderful on-passive day, and we will talk to you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.